Hello and welcome to the video on AUA and Business Correspondent or Authentication Operator Training for improving authentication success rate. In this video, we will learn about the best practices that requesting entities need to follow to increase authentication success rate and enhance the residents' overall authentication experience. Aadhaar provides effective and efficient authentication services for residents to authenticate anytime, anywhere. Aadhaar authentication enables implementing agencies, including government, banks, and so on, to verify beneficiaries and ensure targeted delivery of benefits and services. Residents can use their Aadhaar number to authenticate and establish their identity by performing authentication through various modes, such as biometrics like fingerprints and iris, OTP, and demographic authentication. Fingerprints, iris, and OTP modes of authentication have been effectively used by various requesting entities or REs for service delivery to the residents. Most of the beneficiaries are able to authenticate using these modes of authentication. In the case of fingerprint authentication, some operators of REs insist on the use of the thumb for the purpose of biometric authentication, and in the case of failure, multiple attempts are made only with the thumb. It is hereby clarified that any of the 10 fingers can be used for fingerprint authentication. Sometimes, due to incorrect placement of a finger on the device, worn-out fingerprints, quality of capture of a fingerprint at the same time of enrollment, and so on, authentication with a finger may not be successful. It is advised that if the authentication is not successful with one finger, it may be attempted again with the other fingers. Requesting entities may follow the following best practices to increase authentication success rate and enhance residents' experience. Ensure that the biometric device is placed on a plain, clean, and stable surface. Ensure that the finger used for authentication is clean and placed properly on the device. If authentication fails with one finger, other fingers may be tried for authentication. For applications requiring authentication at regular intervals like daily, weekly, or monthly, the resident's best finger detection or BFD may be performed to identify the best finger for authentication so that the resident can authenticate in one attempt. Dual finger authentication, that is, use of two different fingers, may be performed. All RE applications must have BFD and dual finger detection provisions in their applications. Reasons for failure of authentication as per UIDAI's error codes should be communicated to the resident through the application. RE should conduct regular operator training with a focus on best practices to be followed to improve authentication success rates. Operators must be trained to clearly understand and explain the reasons for failure from UIDAI's error code or RR application response and suggest remedial solutions to the residents. For example, if the UIDAI error code is 330, the application should indicate that the failure is due to locking of biometrics by the resident. The resident should unlock the biometrics just before performing authentication, as the biometrics are temporarily unlocked for 10 minutes, or disable the biometric lock by visiting UIDAI's website or using the Aadhaar mobile application. Operators must be specifically encouraged to use dual finger services to provide BFD services to residents who fail the first attempt and to offer alternate authentication mechanisms such as iris authentication. Operators must be encouraged to report devices that show frequent authentication failures. Operators who show better success rates may be encouraged, and those who repeatedly perform poorly may be retrained. All REs are advised to analyze and monitor their authentication success rates for all modalities or devices and for operator performance on a regular basis. Old, poorly performing and malfunctioning devices that cause more authentication failures should be weeded out of the system. For more information, see the FAQ on improving authentication success rates on uidai.gov.in. To improve authentication success rates, REs can be educated on biometric authentication success rate, device model-wise authentication success rate, and device-wise authentication success rate. Devices with less than 50% accept rate should be examined and remedial action may be taken to improve the accept rate of such devices. Devices with less than 25% success rate should be examined for replacement. Device operator-wise success rate needs to be analyzed. Regular maintenance of replacement of faulty devices. Regular operator training. Identify the beneficiaries who are not able to authenticate or require more attempts to authenticate. Perform best finger detection (BFD) for such beneficiaries and/or dual finger authentication. If required, guide the beneficiaries to a fresh biometric update. AUA or KUA must monitor sub-AUA performance for authentication success rate. Deploy more iris devices that are contactless as well. AUAs need to ensure that the authentication request is formed as per UIDAI's specifications and that there are no errors in the authentication request format. AUAs shall continuously monitor the error codes sent by UIDAI on authentication failures and shall update the authentication application for such errors. Here are some error codes that AUAs can monitor and fix them. With this, we have come to the end of this video. I hope you have learned about best practices that requesting entities need to follow to increase authentication success rate and enhance the residents' overall authentication experience. Thank you.